Hey everyone, welcome to a spooky booster tutor. So it's Halloween, and I did something a little crazy for this channel anyway, and for me. Made a commander deck. So don't really do deck techs that often, but I use the cards I have just kind of laying around in from my cube, and I made a Werewolf Treble deck. My friend kind of inspired me to make this. Even came up with the name Werewolf Bar Mitzvah. I know, right? Awesome. So, what's also very cool is that full moon out tonight, so... Wait, full moon? Uh-oh. We better get through this with the speed of a wolf. Hey everyone, so this is my first deck tech ever for my commander deck that I kind of threw together. Called Werewolf Bar Mitzvah. Of course, werewolves, what I try to do was I try to stay as close to a werewolf theme as possible. So anything that wasn't werewolf, I kind of just kicked it out. Did get rid of a lot of good cards, but I think it came together pretty good. Missing a couple of cards I really liked, but I just didn't have them, so I'll go over those whenever I get there. First off, let's start with the heavy hitters. We've got our commander, Ulrich. Ulrich is a 3 and red-green. He's a 4/4, legendary creature, of course, human werewolf. Whenever this creature enters the battlefield or transforms into him, target creature gets +4/+4 until end turn. So basically, 5 mana, he comes down, you can make him an 8/8, you can, any of your other creatures, give him +4/+4. This is good because your werewolves, when they start out the human side, they're not so great. They're pretty weak, actually. So if you have one out and something happens, or you just want to protect them, or even get him for damage, go +4/+4 until end turn. Not bad. Then if no one casts any spells, he flips at the beginning of next upkeep. He becomes Ulrich Uncontested Alpha, legendary creature werewolf, 6/6. And when he transforms, you may have it fight target non-werewolf creature you don't control. So, he's not that great. I think we can all admit he's a disappointment, but he's the only legendary werewolf we have. And, I mean, he does some work, but he doesn't do anything in the deck except, like, one thing. It's kind of disappointing. Now, next heavy hitter, and the one everyone wishes was legendary, Huntmaster of the Fells. So, Huntmaster came out, Dark Ascension, amazing card. He's 2 red-green for a 2/2. That doesn't seem great, but whenever he enters the battlefield or transforms into Huntmaster of the Fells, you get a 2/2 green wolf, and you gain 2 life. So, yeah. It's like, you're behind a little bit, and hey, guess what? Not anymore. Now, of course, Werewolf Claws flips. He becomes Ravager of the Fells. He's a 4/4 with trample, and whenever he transforms into Ravager of the Fells, deals 2 damage to target opponent and 2 damage to up to 1 target creature that player controls. So, maybe pick something off after you've attacked or whatever. Just kill something small and 2 damage to opponent. Not bad. Commander, I mean, a lot of life to get, but who cares? If he's flipping back and forth, it's pretty nice. Yeah. Wish he was the legendary commander we could have, but oh well. And then we have Mayor of Avabrook. He's 1 and a green for a 1/1. Other human creatures you control get +1/+1. So, right here, they're humans. They would all get +1/+1. And Werewolf Claws, flip him. Other werewolves and wolves you control get +1/+1. So he's a lord. He pumps your team, depending on what side they're on. And at the beginning of your end step, you get a green wolf. So he's already making like 3/3s at the end of each of your turns. So he's like an army in a can, basically, if you give him enough time. Love all these cards right here. These ones are just like the reason you'd probably go into making a werewolf deck, I feel like. So yeah, those are my 3 favorite creatures from here. So, well, I mean, 2 favorite and then the commander. Next, we've got our planeswalkers. We have Arlen Cord, of course. She is, technically doesn't say werewolf, but come on. And then Garruk Relentless. So we've got 2 flip planeswalkers, okay? Reason I use Arlen Cord, of course, is because she is the werewolf planeswalker, basically. She flips into a werewolf. 2 green, red for a 3 loyalty planeswalker. +1 is until end of turn, up to 1 target creature gets +2/+2 and gains vigilance and haste. Right, nice. Her 0 is put a 2/2 green wolf token onto the battlefield, but then she transforms. So again, you're making more tokens. She becomes Arlen, Embraced by the Moon. She has +1. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain trample until end of turn. Nice. Good way to pump your little army. Her -1, she deals 3 damage to target creature or player, and then you transform her back. And her -6, you get an emblem with creatures you control have haste, and tap. This creature deals damage equal to its power to target creature or player. So all those wolves you're making, they're doing 2 damage or more if you can pump them. So pretty nice. I love that she has so many abilities that she can do. And then we have Garruk here. He is Planeswalker for 3 and a green, loyalty 3. His 0, he can deal 3 damage to target creature. That creature deals damage equal to its power to him. And then he also can make 2/2 green wolf creatures. So whenever he has 2 or fewer loyalty counters on him, transform him. So if you do the 3 damage, do 3 damage to a 2/2, it does 2 to him. He gets 1, he flips. He becomes the Veiled Curse. His +1 is put a 1/1 black wolf token with Death Touch on the battlefield, so still making wolves. His -1, sacrifice a creature. If you do, search your library for a creature card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. His -3, creatures you control gain trample and get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. So, he's fetching you guys, he's making guys, he's pumping your guys, he's doing a ton. Basically, this deck wants to have just a ton of creatures out and get a way to pump them up and attack. So, these both do a pretty good job. So, really like these. Other planeswalkers I didn't use. Sarkhan Vol, very good for this type of deck, but what does he have to do with werewolves? Nothing. And then Domri Rade, really awesome for this type of deck. I mean, he just fights. His emblem is like, makes your guys crazy, but he's an elf, so doesn't really fit. If I wasn't going so hard werewolves, I'd probably use either of them, probably more Domri Rade. So, let's go to our next part. Alright, let's get the werewolves. So, Dustwatch Recruiter. Everyone knows this guy. He was just in Eldritch Moon, and he was amazing. So 1 and a green for a 2/2. Human Warrior Werewolf. 2 and a green, look at the top 3 cards of your library. Reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. So he just digs for creatures, which his deck has a ton of, so that works perfectly. And then Werewolf Claws. Becomes a 3/3, and creature spells you cast cost 1 less. So yeah, even better. He makes everything cheaper. Gets you creatures, makes them cheaper. He's awesome. Daybreak Ranger, 2 and a green for 2/2. Tap, Daybreak Ranger deals 2 damage to target creature with flying. I mean, it's okay, it's not that great. But then you flip it, it's a 4/4, and it fights target creature. There you go. Oh, for 1 red and tap it. So this deck kind of needs some removal, because there's not too much. It's hard to just get removal that is very werewolf based. And that is reusable. So if you pump this up or use the Lords or something like that to help get it up there, it can fight a lot of things, and it's a good way to get rid of creatures. Sage of Ancient Lore, 4 and a green, star. Its power and toughness is equal to the number of cards in your hand. Alright, nice. Not too much card draw in this deck, but some werewolves here, as I have, will help you out. When there's a battlefield, you draw a card. There you go. Werewolf Claws. Star. Its power and toughness is equal to the total number of cards in all players' hands. That's amazing. Has vigilance and trample, and at the beginning of your upkeep, 2 or more spells back. So draws you a card, and then it's amazingly big with vigilance and trample because, well, multiplayer. Lambolt Elder, 2 and a green for a 1/2, and then it doesn't do anything. But when you transform it, it becomes a 4/5. And when it does coming down to a player, you draw a card. So there's some card draw. A little harder to happen, but still. Hermit of the Natter Knolls. 2 and a green for a 2/3. Whenever an opponent casts a spell during your turn, draw a card. Okay, I mean, maybe a little bit harder to do in multiplayer, but it happens. Flip it. When your opponent casts a spell during your turn, draw 2 cards. Okay, so some card draw, all little kind of situational, sadly. But, I mean, it's tacked on to some werewolves, so that's how it's going to be. Next we have Mondrodin Shaman. Is that it? I don't know. Sorry, I only want to have his Japanese. So it is 3 and a red for a 3/2. And at the beginning of your upkeep, it's just its claws, basically. But it becomes a 5/5. That's pretty nice. And whenever an opponent casts a spell, it deals 2 damage to that player. That's it. So basically, it flips into a 5/5 and deals damage anytime someone casts a spell, or an opponent does. So basically, it's going to die pretty fast because people aren't going to take 2 damage all the time, but that's pretty nice, I have to say. All right, and then we have here our ramp, I guess. Scorned Villager, 1 a green for a 1/1. Tap it, add a green to your mana pool. When it flips to 2/2 with Vigilance, and tap it to add 2 green. That's fine. It's nice. Can come down early. Get you some mana to cast more werewolves. And we have Ulvenwald Captive, 1 a green for a 1/2. Has Defender. Tap it to add a green to your mana pool. Pay 5 green to transform it. Becomes Ulvenwald Abomination. It's a 4/6. Tap it, add 2 colors to your mana pool. This deck, a lot of the creatures are pretty low cost because werewolves aren't too high. I think maybe like 5 is the most, probably. But it's always nice to have more mana so you can cast more creatures. More werewolves. Vilden Pack Outcast, 4 and a red for a 4/4. Trample, 1 red. It gets +1/-1 until end of turn. Pay 5 red, transform it. It becomes Drone Pack Kindred. It has Trample, pay generic, and it gets +1/+0 until end of turn, and it's a 5/7. So yeah, you can pump that pretty good and get through for a lot of damage. So like that guy. Crew and Outlaw, 1 red for a 2/2 with first strike. Okay, that's fine. But flip it, becomes a 3/3 with double strike. Very nice. And each werewolf you control can't be blocked except by 2 more creatures. So gives it all your werewolves menace. That's amazing. And gets double strike. So if you're pumping it with lords or spells, pretty nice if it gets through. Then we have here the Bandit. It is 2 and a red for a 3/2 with haste. Don't know if haste's going to be too good in here. On turn 3, maybe 2. But transform it, and it's a 4/3. And whenever a werewolf enters the battlefield under your control, you may transform it. So it comes down, automatically transforms to its usually better side. So very nice. Breakneck Rider, 1 red for a 3/3. Nothing. But when it flips, attacking creatures you control get +1/+0 and have trample. Yeah, that transforms into a really good creature. Just pumps your whole army, gives them all trample, which this deck needs. It's very nice. Shrill Howler, 2 and a green for a 3/1. Okay, it's not that great, but creature with power less than Shrill Howler's power can't block it, so no chump blocking. Pay 5 and a green to transform him. Becomes a 3/5, and creatures with power less than him can't block it, so he just becomes bigger and still can't be chump blocked. Afflicted Deserter, 3 and a red for a 3/2. Nothing on here, but when it flips, whenever this creature transforms into Werewolf Ransacker, you may destroy target artifact. If that artifact is put into a graveyard this way, Werewolf Ransacker deals 3 damage to that artifact's controller. That's a mouthful to say. Basically, when he flips, you destroy an artifact and do 3 damage to its controller. Which is nice, because green has a lot of removal, but I like to have it put onto the creatures, so I don't have to have cards just taking up, like, destroy target artifact for 1 in a green. I mean, it's nice, but trying to stick to a theme here. Okay, Gatstaff Shepherd, 1 in a green for a 2/2. And when it transforms, it becomes a 3/3 with Intimidate. I mean, it's not that great. Intimidate's kind of nice, though. Kind of hard with green. A lot of people play green, but hey, it's something. Ulvenwald Mystics, 2 green for a 3/3. When it transforms, regenerates. And it's a 5/5. So regenerate, very nice in this deck. I feel like a lot of your werewolves are going to die a lot, and I don't really have a way to bring them back from the graveyard. I mean, there are ways, but just not in this one, because I was trying to stick to a theme. Alright, and our last bit of werewolves here. These are more the vanilla ones. They don't really have any abilities. They just are smaller and they transform into bigger creatures. So we have Handwear Watchkeep. It is 2 and a red for a 1/5 with Defender. When it flips, it becomes a 5/5 that attacks each turn if able. So, yeah. Hinterland Hermit. 1 and a red for a 2/1. When it flips, it's a 3/2 that can't be blocked. Must be blocked if able. So, pretty much it's going to kill something if it's small enough. Tormented Pariah. 3 and a red for a 3/2. When it flips, it's a 6/4. There you go. Lambholt Pacifist. 1 and a green for a 3/3, but it can't attack unless you control a creature with power 4 or greater. Transform, becomes a 4/4. So, not that much better. Grizzled Outcast, 4 and a green for a 4/4. When it flips, it's a 7/7. And then Villagers of Estwald, 2 and a green for a 2/3. When it flips, it's a 4/6. Okay, so, like I said, very vanilla, but werewolves. Alright, went to the werewolves. Now we're on to the wolves. So, I wanted to add a wolf theme just because, I don't know, younger wolves becoming werewolves, you know, that type of thing. But also, just because there's so much interaction with all the werewolf cards and wolves because they make wolf tokens. So, didn't want to be completely werewolf. So, wolves. Let's start with Emmer Wolf. 1 red-green, creature wolf. It's a 2/2, intimidate. Other wolf and werewolf creatures you control get +1/+1, and non-human werewolves you control can't transform. So basically, it's another lord, and once a werewolf flips, it will stay that way as long as he's on the board. Maybe sometimes that's not that great, and maybe also for the Eldritch Moon ones, not that great, but I think the positive outweigh the negative on this guy. Pryheart Wolf. It's 2 and a red for a 1/1. Whenever it attacks, each creature you control can't be blocked this turn except by 2 more creatures and is undying. So if it attacks, all the other creatures get menace and has undying, so if it dies, it comes back as a 2/2. Not bad, like it. Spear of the Hunt, 1 green. It's a 3/3 wolf spirit with flash. When it enters the battlefield, each other creature you control that's a wolf or a werewolf gets +0/+3 until end turn. So basically, can play it anytime you want, and it just makes all your guys' toughness up, basically. So if they're about to die, guess what? Now they're not, because they're going to get 3 toughness, which is pretty good. Silver Fur Partisan, 1 and a green for a 2/2. Wolf Warrior Trample. Whenever a wolf or werewolf you control becomes the target of an instant or sorcery spell, put a 2/2 green wolf creature token onto the battlefield. So, yeah, this guy's crazy. So basically, if anyone tries to kill one of your wolves or werewolves with just a removal spell, you get another wolf token. If you target any of your guys, you get a wolf token. It's just, yeah, makes your army bigger. Wolfer Silverheart, 3 green for a 4/4. Has Soulbond, which is, you may pair this creature with another unpaired creature when either enters the battlefield. They remain paired for as long as you control both of them. So basically, say he was out, this comes in, you pair it, and this gets +4/+4, because as long as it is paired with another creature, each of those creatures gets +4/+4. So, like I said, he's out, play him, oh, I'll pair them, +4/+4, +4/+4. Really good. So, Fang of the Pack, 5 and a green for a 5/3, has melee, which is whenever this creature attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each opponent you attacked with a creature this combat. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, another target creature you control gains melee until end turn. So, let's say you pair these two. +4/+4, +4/+4. Then you attack with both of them to 2 different people. They will each get +2/+2 because they'll both have melee. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, like both those cards very much. Pack Guardian, 2 green for a 4/3 with flash. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you may discard a land card. If you do, get a 2/2 green wolf token. Making more tokens. This is why I love this deck. You're just making a giant army of 2/2 tokens. And Howlgeist, 5 and a green for a 4/2. Creatures with power less than a Howlgeist power can't block it, and it has Undying, so can't get chump blocked. And if something is able to block it, just comes back even bigger. So wolves are pretty sweet in this, I have to say. So only 4 more wolves. It is a werewolf deck after all, so I want to have a smattering of wolves. We have Feral Ridge Wolf, 2 in a red for a 1/2 with trample, but pay 1 red, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Not the most exciting card, but late game you can make it huge and get in for a ton of damage, I feel like. So, Nyxborn Wolf, 2 in a green for a 3/1. Chant creature. Oh, and it has Bestow, which is 4 in a green. That's basically, if you play it, you can, for the Bestow cost, 4 in a green, you can put it on another creature, and then chant creature gets +3/+1 until end turn. If this creature were to die, he comes back in, he's a 3/1 now. So that's mainly why it's here, just because it's so diverse. You can use an enchantment or as a creature, and if you use an enchantment, that creature dies, it comes in a creature. It's just really nice, and it's a wolf. So, Wolf for Avenger, 1 green for a 3/3. It has flash, and pay 1 green, regenerate it. I need some regenerating in here because these creatures are going to die a lot, and probably a lot of board wipes and multiplier, I'm going to say. Briarpack Alpha, 3 in a green for a 3/3 with flash, and when it enters the battlefield, target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. It's fine, not very exciting, but it does pump. It's always nice. That's it for wolves. Not as exciting as werewolves, but I do like them. Now, I do have 2 creatures in here that are neither wolves or werewolves, and they are human shamans. First, we have Cult of the Waxing Moon, 4 in a green for a human shaman. Whenever a permanent you control transforms into a non-human creature, you get a 2/2 green wolf token. So, basically, flip it, becomes a werewolf, you get a token. That's why he's in here. He just feeds to the army again, and it's awesome. We want to talk about awesome and feeding to the army and just doing a ton in this deck. Master of the Wild Hunt. 4 green for human shaman, 3/3. At the beginning of your upkeep, you get a 2/2 green wolf token. Just get it. Then you can tap him, tap all untapped wolf creatures you control. So every wolf token you have, that's untapped, you tap them. Each wolf tapped this way deals damage equal to its power to target creature. That creature deals damage equal to its power divided as its controller chooses among any number of those wolves. So yeah, you're going to lose some wolves, but you're pretty much going to wipe out somebody's creatures. If not everybody's, if you have a ton of wolves. This is like how you're doing direct damage. You're just fighting a ton of things with your creatures. So yeah, love this guy. Alright, artifacts. There's not too many. Kind of hard with werewolves. And maybe a couple of these are a cop-out. Mainly Soul Ring. So Soul Ring is 1 generic. And then tap it, add 2 generic to your mana pool. Amazing. Kind of doesn't have to go in a commander deck, but it's pretty awesome. Next cop-out is Door of Destinies. 4 for an artifact, and as Door of Destinies comes into play, choose a creature type. Werewolf, wolf. Whenever you play a spell of that type, put a charge counter on it. Creatures you control that type get +1/+1 for each charge counter on Door of Destinies. Yeah, this is going to pump your entire deck, basically. Was Door of Destinies have to do with werewolves? Werewolves are destined to be cool. I don't know. Deathrender. 4 for a artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+2, and that's fine. But whenever equipped creature is put into a graveyard from play, you may put a creature card from your hand into play and attach Deathrender. Equip 2. So, do werewolves use weapons? Sure, maybe. That works. That's all I got. But this is also cool because you can put a werewolf onto it, and then this dies. You just put a werewolf in your hand into play, not casting a spell. So not adding to the 2 spell clause. Another card, or a couple other cards, that could have made the deck. Cryptic Gateway. It's the one, tap 2 of a same creature type, put a creature of that type into play. That's a way to get around the clause. You're not casting spells, so it doesn't count. You're just putting them into play. Another is Quicksilver Amulet, which is you pay 4 and tap it, put a creature card from your hand into play. Another way to get around that clause. Don't have any of those cards, that's why they're not in here. Probably would pick Cryptic Gateway over Quicksilver Amulet because werewolves don't like silver. And that's basically it. And our next is Neglected Heirloom. It's 1. It's a artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. And whenever equipped creature transform, you transform this. So this is attached, we'll say. He transforms into a 7/7. This will then transform. And equipped creature gets +3/+3 and has first strike. And equip 3. So this will stay. This never, I don't think ever flips back, right? But then he would be a 10/10 with first strike. So yeah, pretty awesome. Goes in Werewolf Deck amazingly. And yeah, that's it for artifacts. All right, let's move on to instants and sorceries. This is it. There's actually only one instant. It is Moonlight Hunt. 1 green for an instant. Choose target creature you don't control. Each creature you control that's a wolf or werewolf deals damage equal to its power to that creature. So basically this is in here because it's a good way to just get rid of one gigantic creature if there is one. Basically I wasn't looking for like direct damage like lightning bolt or anything like that. And I want to stick to a werewolf theme, so I was going to be like, oh, Rabid Bite or Pit Fight. But then that's like one creature deals, like fights one other creature, or prey upon even. Like, they're one uses, they're one of your creatures against one of their creatures. It seemed like it was taking up too much room. I'd rather have something that like is reusable, or something that can just take out one giant creature. So another removal we have is Blasphemous Act. That is 8 in a red for sorcery. It costs 1 less for each creature on the battlefield and deals 13 damage to each creature. So if things are getting out of hand on someone else's board, you're not quite there, let's wipe the board. And if you can somehow regenerate your guys, which there are some ways in this deck. Alright, now we have here some ways to get creatures out faster. We have Primal Command, 3 green, sorcery, you get to choose 2, target player gains 7 life. Okay. Put target non-creature permanent on top of its owner's library. Okay, sure, so you're getting rid of a token? No, not really. Get rid of something, for a little bit. Target player shuffles his or her library his or her graveyard into his or her library. So if someone has some graveyard shenanigans going on, you can deal with that. But mainly, search your library for a creature card, reveal it, put in your hand, then shuffle your library. It's a good way to search out a creature that you're going to need, or you just, feel like you want it, and then get something else. See the Unwritten, 4 green, sorcery, reveal the top 8 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield, put the rest in your graveyard. Graveyard part kind of sucks, but it has Ferocious, which is if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, which is easy in this deck. You may put 2 creature cards onto the battlefield instead of 1. So good way to get around the werewolf clause of casting cards, or casting spells. You're just putting these creatures into play, and 6 mana, get 2 creatures. That works for me. Then we have Selvalla's Stampede, 4 green again, sorcery, has Council's Dilemma. Starting with you, each player votes for wild or free. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card for each wild vote. Put those creature cards onto the battlefield, then shuffle the rest of your library. You may put a permanent card from your hand on the battlefield for each free vote. So it's looking up creatures, put on the battlefield, or if you have creatures in your hand, putting those on the battlefield. Either way, you're probably going to get, 4 votes, and you're going to get something good no matter what. So, like that card, it's nice to just put free cards, or creature cards on the battlefield in this deck. Howl of the Night Pack, 6 and a green for sorcery. Put a 2/2 green wolf creature token onto the battlefield for each forest you control. This deck does run a lot of basics. I think it's like 12 forest. So you're going to get some wolves. And wolves in this deck, pretty good. Because for one, we have Overwhelming Stampede. 3 green for sorcery. Until end of turn, creatures you control gain trample and get +X/+X, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. So if you have a 7/7 werewolf, all your creatures get +7/+7 trample. Yeah, pretty good. And of course, we got our old friend here, Overrun. 3 green, a little heavy on the green, but creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain trample to end of turn. So not as good as Overwhelming Stampede, but still gonna get the job done. Alright, let's move on to the enchantments. We have Full Moon's Rise, 1 and a green for enchantment that werewolf creatures you control get +1/+0 and have trample. And you can sacrifice it to regenerate all werewolf creatures you control. So pumps the team, gives them trample, which is always nice. and regenerate them if there's a board wipe or if you're wiping the board. Very nice, like that. It's cheap too, like that. Halpak Resurgence. 2 and a green for enchantment Flash, and each creature you control that's a wolf or werewolf gets +1/+1 and has trample. So more pumping, more trample. Love it. Dissonance Path. 1 and a green enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card that shares a creature type with a creature you control, you may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Otherwise, put that card on the bottom of your library. So, this again, it's another way to get around the 2 spell clause of flipping your wolves back into the human form, basically. Gets you a lot of free creatures in a werewolf deck. Very nice. I love that art. So nice. Curse of Predation. 1 and a green enchantment or a curse enchant player, so you enchant one of your opponents. Whenever a creature attacks enchant player, put 1 counter on it. So this is nice because you're going to be doing a lot of attacking. You know, maybe just kind of screw someone over and attack only them and make your guys bigger. Downside is it does work for your opponents to attack that player and then their team gets bumped up. But you know what? Chance I'm willing to take. Fires of Yavimaya. 1 green red for enchantment. Creatures you control have haste, and sacrifice it. Target creature gets +2/+2 in the turn. Mainly this is for the haste. It's nice to sacrifice it. Pump one guy. Maybe he's getting for lethal. Maybe you're just killing a creature and he's surviving. Who knows? Sylvan Library. 1 and a green enchantment. At the beginning of your draw step, you may draw 2 additional cards. If you do, choose 2 cards in your hand drawn this turn. For each of those cards, pay 4 life or put the card on top of your library. So basically what you're doing is you're just looking through, like cycling the first few cards, seeing what you like. If there's only 1 card you want, put the other 2 back, don't lose any life. But freaking amazing card. It's basically just card draw in green, which is always nice. Also Sylvan, Forest, that works. Rancor, 1 green, enchantment, aura, enchant creature gets +2/+0 and has trample. That works for me. And when it is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return it to its owner's hand. So it's always reusable. Put on a 2/2 wolf. It's a 4/2 wolf with trample. Try and get some damage in. Doesn't matter because it's coming back. And then Gruul War Chant. 1 red green enchantment. Each attacking creature you control gets +1/+0 and basically has menace. So, I mean, Gruul, that just means green and red, right? But it's nice to give all your creatures menace and pump them up some in the power. So that's why I went with those. Other enchantment I would have gone with was it Asceticism? Aestheticism. It's 3 green for enchantment, and basically all your creatures get hexproof. Very nice. And pay 1 and a green, regenerate target creature. So yeah, I mean, I would probably put that in over this. But I don't have one, so yeah. Alright, 1 more enchantment. Okay, last enchantment is Beastmaster Ascension. It's 2 and a green. The enchantment, whenever a creature you control attacks, put a quest counter on Beastmaster Ascension. As long as it has 7 or more quest counters, creatures you control get +5/+5. So, freaking amazing card. I mean, talk about pumping your team. +5/+5. That's amazing. All your 2/2 wolves that you're gonna make a ton of are 7/7s now. And yeah, card's amazing. I didn't have this card, and my friend Jay, she made me a proxy, and I mean, it's better than the real thing. So yeah. All right, so we're gonna talk about mana base now, the most boring part. We have our basics. We have 11 mountains and 13 forest. All right, and here we have all our mana that basically taps for either green or red. We got Game Trails, I think. It's the new Battle Land, Tangle Land, whatever you want to call it. This is Raging Ravine. When it enters the battlefield tapped, plus tap it to add, of course, red and green. But 2 red-green, until end of turn, it becomes a 3/3 red and green elemental creature with whenever this creature attacks, put 1 counter on it, it's still land. So, yeah, okay. It's not a werewolf, it's not a wolf, it's amazing, okay? Stomping Ground, it's the red-green shock land. Rebound Crag, red-green. Taiga, it's the red-green dual land. Maybe cut this if you want to keep the cost down a little bit. It's a 2-color deck, so you don't really need it that much. Mossfire Valley, pay 1, tap it, add red and a green to your mana pool. Yeah, that works. Wood Foothills, red-green fetch land. Temple of Abandon, comes in battlefield tapped, but you get to scry 1. And Grilled Turf, it is the bounce land that when you tap it, you get a red and a green. So, as you can see, you don't need too many lands to make 2 colors. It's always nice, of course, but it's a 2-color deck. It's fine. You can take the cheapest ones and you're good. Lastly, we have the lands that don't tap for red and green, but they do stuff. So we have Skarg the Rage Pits. This taps for a generic. You pay red and green, target creature gets +1/+1 and gains trample until end of turn. So, giving stuff trample and pumping it, that works for me. Opal Palace, oh boy, a lot of text. Makes a generic, but pay a generic and tap it. Add to your mana pool 1 mana of any color in your commander's color, so red or green. If you spin it to cast your commander, it enters the battlefield with a number of 1/1 counters on it equal to the number of times it's been cast from the command zone this game. So, you're pumping him, say it's been twice, he comes into play, gets 2 1/1 counters on him, so you can make him a 10/10 with his ability. What's nice is, when he flips, he'll have 2 counters on him, season 8/8, and when he fights, he does 8 damage, so not bad. Keswick Wolverun, amazing card, tap it for a generic, but pay X red-green, target creature gets +X/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. So you're just plowing through, doing tons of damage, always nice. Command Tower, make sure they're green. Great. Last, Cavern of Souls. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Wolf, werewolf, probably werewolf. Tap it to add a color to your mana pool, but tap it, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, spend this mana only to cast a creature spell of the chosen type, werewolf, and that spell can't be countered. So, amazing way to get around control decks, always nice to have in a tribal deck. And, also lastly, if you're going to be having this deck, you gotta have tokens. Got Wolf here. It's a creature wolf. It's a 2/2. Oh god, what's wrong with it? This is from my friend Jay again. Thank you so much, Jay. And, okay, hope you enjoyed this. Yeah. Huh. So just my right hand changed. That's whatever. So, there's my deck. Werewolf Mitzvah, like I said. It's not the best commander deck, I know, but just something I kind of threw together. I thought it'd be fun for Halloween, like I said. So, hope you enjoyed it. Want to try something different. Let me know if you want me to do more stuff like this. I'll give it a try. Why not? If you want to follow me on Twitter, booster_tutor, and see you next draft.